Well, guys, here we are. We are back. And it has been a while since I posted any videos. If you guys have kept up with me on all my social medias, that is at T33NAZ. You'd see all my picks that I've been posting. I haven't really posted anything in terms of my betting for UFC or my picks in general for UFC. I've kind of been laying everything out on my social media platforms, been posting everything on there. Due to the fact, a couple small cards, really nothing really crazy. Also, I've been saving the moment for this card because this was a card I've been wanting to do, and I kind of been putting everything towards here. And a lot of the picks on this card are almost certainly difficult, I would say. A lot of mismatch fights, but getting into it, we had some crazy things happen recently in terms of a lot of underdogs coming through. We saw Leon Edwards get absolutely obliterated by Sean Brady, which I had called, and I also said he was live for submission as well, if you've kept up with me. Otherwise, though, we've had some good underdogs, good fights. Brand Moreno came through for us, but we're not going to get into that bunch. We're going to talk about 314 and that main card, so let's get into it. Now, I'm going to start off with Volk and Lopez because this fight fucking excites me. I've been so hyped about this fight. I've talked about it with a bunch of people. I love both of these guys. I don't know who to go with, or I didn't know who to go with. I was so, worried about, this is a fight that can go only two ways. Either Volkanovski survives the first two rounds and he absolutely dominates and picks Lopez apart, or Diego's going to catch him on a flash knockout in the first or second round. To me, that's how I see that going. But I've what's so weird is I've seen a couple people going with the fact that Lopez could outwork him for 5 rounds, and I just don't see it that way. If Lopez is gonna win, he's gonna win in the first round or second round by knockout. Volk, I feel like, is too technically sound on the feet, and he's especially for his build too. I wouldn't say he's like a fish out of water on the ground either. We saw how he did against Islam. I will say, though, I did go against Volk with Topuria due to the fact he was coming off that KO loss from Islam, and Topuria was a fucking monster at the time. I remember all my friends telling me, oh, there's no way Topuria's going to beat him, blah, 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 because they didn't really know who Topuria was at the time. But watching Topuria for the last couple of years, really, obviously we see what he's become now, but that's a whole different story. But anyways, getting off topic, I am going to be picking Diego Lopez to win this fight. This was a very, very hard decision that I was going back and forth with. I'm like, fuck, man, I want to pick Volk. I really do. But correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe this is true, though. I don't think we've had a champion over 35 years old, be a champion from all the weights under welterweight. I don't think it's happened. So I don't know. I'm definitely not picking. I just can't see myself picking Volk this time again. I don't know. I don't see it. He's coming off that bad knockout loss to Topuria, and obviously I take for granted he took a year layoff. So, it just kind of depends on what type of version of Volk shows up. But we've seen the story rewritten in history plenty of times. We saw it happen with Izzy. We saw it happen now with Alex Pereira, and I think it's going to keep continuing to happen. We saw it happen with Leon. We saw it happen with Usman. There's a time for every fighter to shine, and there's a time when they also fall. And I just feel like Volk his time has come. I think he's done now. I really do. So a fight like this, I would say it really comes down to what you're betting on. Are you betting on Volkanovski to the old Volkanovski, Prime Volk, which I do think Prime Volk would wipe the floor with Lopez? Are you betting on Prime Volk to make a return and absolutely dominate him on the feet and put on a striking masterclass? Or are we going to see the same old Volk that has no chin anymore? His chin's gone. Me personally, I know it's not really a good way, I would say, to look at the fight, but I'm putting all my weight down on Lopez just catching him, which honestly it isn't a really educated or smart thing to do, but I don't know, just the way that things have built up recently and the way that a lot of these fights have gone recently, and especially Volk coming off two really, really bad knockout losses, and Diego is a young prospect, looks very promising, has all the hype rising with him. I think he's going to probably get it done. Now, I know a problem that a lot of people that are fading Diego, the problem what they have with him, I would say, is wouldn't even say more of the power. They know he's an animal, especially in the clinch. My God, those fucking punches are insane in the fucking clinch. That dude generates some insane uppercut power from the clinch. Filthy clinch power. It's insane. Dirty clinch boxing. But I think what a lot of people are afraid with that fight in terms of betting on Lopez is his cardio, which it kind of confuses me because a lot of people, are like, oh, he gasses out. He doesn't have good cardio. And I'm like, you're talking about one fight. And that was a catchweight fight where they had to reweigh in a couple times. And he ultimately ended up, it was a pullout, and he ultimately ended up fighting Dan Egan. And he wasn't even at 145. I think they ended up fighting, it was like a catchweight at like 160, some crazy shit like that. So Volk, Lopez had already done the weight cuts, got back down, weighed into where he needed to weigh. So he wasn't even at 100% peak. Now, what I will say, though, is Lopez could end up gassing out if he does rock him and doesn't put Volk out, because he exerts himself a lot when he goes for those fucking finishes. When he rocks you, he's like a bolt, keeps coming at you. So if he doesn't get Volk out, that could be a problem because he might exert himself. But I don't know if he's gonna, hopefully he fights smart and he doesn't do that with someone like Volk. I don't believe that he would try to do that with someone like Volk, especially knowing how good of a pacer Volk is himself. So honestly, if he really is rocked, though, Lopez is going to go for it 100%. But that's how I see that fight going. I just don't see a world where Volk can make it out of those later rounds, I would say, or the early rounds, I guess I should say, not the later rounds. The later rounds would play a favor for Volk. But I'm betting on Lopez to get him out of there within 1 or 2 rounds. I think he's going to catch him, and that'll be it. Moving on now. Getting away from that. Next fight, another tricky fight. I wouldn't even say tricky, but I know a lot of people have been going back and forth with this one too. Guys, the pick has to be Paddy Pimblett. There's no way I will ever throw money on Chandler. There was only one time I ever picked Chandler in a fight, and that was against Tony Ferguson. I will never bet on Chandler. There's no way. Actually, that's not true. I bet on him against Oliveira, but it wasn't a confident pick. It was more of like a flash knockout or something like that, which he did rock him and almost finish Oliveira. But obviously, we saw what happened. He lost. But Chandler, I've been an advocate of it, and I've said it for years that Chandler has the worst fighting IQ, probably one of the top 10 worst fighting IQs in the UFC. I believe that a young prime prospect upcoming Paddy Pimblett will beat a aging Michael Chandler. I just don't see Michael Chandler beating him. I don't, especially the way that he's kind of looked in his last performances. He's more of an entertainer. We all know that, guys. I do believe it's a 5-round fight too, so that does worry me a little bit on the Paddy Pimblett side, but I do think that Paddy will be able to outstrike him. I think that Paddy will also be able to have some good moments. Chandler probably has some good moments too, but I think especially in the grappling department, people don't realize how underrated Paddy Pimblett's grappling is. Very, very decent grappling. Maybe more than decent. Above average, 100%. But I think Paddy Pimblett's going to get this done. I think Paddy Pimblett wins. Probably goes to decision. Paddy Pimblett by decision, maybe. I don't know if he's going to be able to finish Chandler. It would honestly shock me if that happened. That would be so fucking crazy. But I don't see it happening. I don't. All right, we're moving on now. Bryce Mitchell and John Silva. Guys, there's no way I'm betting on Bryce Mitchell. John Silva's the lock. Could honestly go maybe. I'm going to just say fucking and go balls to the wall. Probably John Silva by knockout. Bryce coming off a brutal knockout from Josh Emmett. Took the time off, whatever, but I don't know. I know a lot of people are riding with Bryce Mitchell. I know there's a lot of Bryce Mitchell fans out there wherever they are. Again, I'm yet to meet one, but I see them all the time when I'm on Twitter scrolling around. But I don't know. I just, for me, Silva's the only right answer. I think he's going to get it done. Maybe goes to the decision. I don't know, but I would say more knockout. Probably catches him on the feet, gets him out. But we'll see what happens. Could also go to decision, but you never know. Next, we're moving on to Patricio Pitbull and Yair Rodriguez. Guys, Pitbull is my pick. I know there's been people arguing me about that. Pitbull is the GOAT of Bellator, in my opinion. I think he's going to get it done on his UFC debut. I'm only going to talk with people that I personally like betting-wise. I also like Reyes, too. I think Reyes gets it done. He's got momentum coming back now for himself. So for me, that makes sense for Reyes to pull through. Dan Ige and Sean Woodson. Man, it's another tough one. I was kind of rolling with Ige at first, but I'm going to probably have to ride with Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson's striking has looked really good recently, so I'm going to just say fuck it and go balls to the wall with Sean Woodson, even though I really do like Danny Ige. Dude's a fucking badass, but we're going to roll with Sean Woodson for this one. Verena, too. I think Verena beats Jan. Again, probably will be a close fight, but in terms of the grappling, there's going to be a huge skill gap, I believe. So I think Verena will get it done, too. Probably either, obviously, if she's going to win, it's either submission or decision. So I don't think she's going to be able to finish Jan. So I would say, if you're going to bet on this one, I would say Verena by decision is probably good. But that's my personal pick. That's what I think is going to happen. Next, we got Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. As much as I love Jim, Chase Hooper is the younger guy, good prospect, really, really good jiu-jitsu. I think Chase Hooper is going to be getting it done this weekend, boys. Next, we got Darren Elkins and Mr. Arosa. I'm going with Darren Elkins. He's a big underdog. I honestly don't understand the odds for this one. They're so wide for me, in my opinion. I think they should be a little bit closer, but that's just what it is. So we're going with Darren Elkins to win. I wouldn't touch any of these others. I mean, Dumas is definitely, he's 50-50. A lot of these other fights are all toss-ups, I would say. A lot of the other prelims, all toss-ups. So this is just what I like. These are my picks, and this is what I'm going to probably be riding with. Follow me, guys, on my Instagram, my Snap. It's at T33NHZ. I'll be posting more pics on there, probably, if anything changes, updating. But for right now, this is the picks. This is what I like. And I do think Lopez is going to get it done this weekend. So let's all fucking cash out and make money because we've been looking really good these past couple UFC fight night cards. So let's get it going, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, everyone.